Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
But the most important rule of Fight Club is fuck the rules. I hope most of you have seen Fight Club. I know I'm late to this topic, actually a decade late, but it's an interesting philosophy that's even more necessary in this century. The basic plot is that Edward Norton plays a depressed white-collar man who suffers from insomnia.
With insomnia, nothing's real.
On a flight, he meets an interesting soap salesman by the name of Tyler Durden. He soon finds himself living in Tyler Durden's squalid house after his apartment is destroyed. The two of them form an underground fight club. But we are not here to talk about the story of Fight Club, but its philosophy. By learning its philosophy, you'll be able to transform yourself into the person you always wanted to be. Let's discuss the philosophy of Fight Club.
See a lot of new faces. Shut up! Which means a lot of you have been breaking the first two rules of Fight Club.
Live a life that makes you feel alive. What was the fight in Fight Club all about? Chance for some blue and white collar workers to vent their aggression? No. It was an opportunity for a group of men totally disconnected from life to feel alive. Fight Club was criticized for the level of violence displayed. People said it promoted fascism and misogyny. These critics totally missed the point. The men in Fight Club were so numb from a life of pumping gas, waiting tables, working in offices and chasing the empty dreams of consumerism that they needed something as extreme as fighting to remind them they were alive. Remember what led Jack to Tyler Durden and the creation of Fight Club? He was an insomniac. He described himself as living in a state that was neither asleep nor awake. What happened when he started attending Fight Club? He slept like a baby. The lesson here is that without simulation, your mind is prone to be tuning in on itself, shutting down or seeking other more destructive outlets such as drugs, emotional eating, or gambling. Therefore, you must engage in and with the pursuits, people, and activity that make you feel alive. Let go of the need to control.
Hitting bottom isn't a weekend retreat. It's not a goddamn seminar. Stop trying to control everything and just let go. Let go!
Do you find that attempts to control your life often backfires? Whether a natural impulse or inherited from growing in such a demanding society, the need to control is hard to resist. We struggle, push and strain, hoping that if we can exert enough effort, then we can achieve our goals. But what if there was another way? Throughout the film, Tyler urges Jack to let go of his need to control. This, he teaches him, is the only way to evolve and to be free. To prove his point, he lets go of the steering wheel while they are driving on the freeway. Jack immediately urges Tyler to take control of the car. Tyler refuses. Jack's been questioning him about the exact direction that the Fight Club is taking as it transitions to Project Mayhem. He is insisting that he is kept informed about all the developments. Tyler doesn't want to hear this. To him, it's a sign that Jack hasn't learned a thing since coming to Fight Club. Point here is, sometimes the decision isn't clear, but if we are open to where the journey might lead, we can still achieve the outcome we desire. Of course, without Tyler controlling the car, it crashes and careens off the road. It's an extreme lesson, and for a moment, the viewer is left wondering what it's about. However, Tyler, in his twistedly brilliant way, reveals all, as says to Jack while scrambling from the wreckage.
God damn! We just had a near-life experience!
He wants to show Jack what happens when you learn to let go of your need to control. You don't die. Your world doesn't fall apart. You don't lose all motivation and you'll still be able to function and perform important duties. However, what does happen when you stop attempting to control every tiny detail is that you're open to the adventure of life. The message is that your subconscious mind is connected to a deeper wisdom than your conscious. You can't possibly control all the millions of outcomes that need to go your way to be successful. It would take too long. At some point, you must let go and trust that everything that needs to happen will occur. Do what matters and forget everything else. In one of the most powerful scenes of the film, Tyler holds a gun to a convenience store worker's head. The worker is terrified. He thinks his store is being held up. However, his terror soon turns to confusion as Tyler starts questioning him about life. Raymond has been putting off becoming a vet because of all the obstacles he believes stand in his way. Tyler views everything Raymond says as an excuse, so he gives him an option. Either he can enroll in a veterinary school and follow his dreams, or Tyler can revisit him in 6 weeks and blow his brains out.
If you're not on your way to becoming a veterinarian in 6 weeks, you will be dead.
Extreme and cruel? Perhaps. But Tyler also makes a brilliant point. Far too many of us don't follow through with the truly important things in our life. We are too willing to believe our own excuse and spend our lives focusing on the small stuff we think needs to be done. The problem is that, unlike Raymond, none of us are faced with a life or death choice. When walking the system's path, our decline is slow. We don't notice the loss of vitality and health until it's too late. We rue the wasted years and regret the dreams we didn't follow, but at the time, we have no perspective. When faced with a life and death situation, you see clearly. When threatened with loss of everything, you realize you are free to do anything. What else matters? Paying the rent on the crappy apartment you hate? Paying a mortgage to a bank who's ripped you off? Turning on time to a job that bores your brain out? Are you really going to think about these things on your deathbed? No. So why let them stop you going for the life you want? The lesson here is that living your dreams is relatively simple. There's nothing stopping you. If someone put a gun to your head and told you to follow through on the idea you have for your business or pursue your dreams to be an actor, you'll do that and probably be successful too. Final thoughts. At its deepest level, Fight Club is a film about finding meaning. Life seems pointless because you have been conditioned to value things that make you feel empty. If you can reject this conditioning and instead win the spiritual war of your soul, then the sense of purpose that eludes so many of us will be yours. Hit the like button if you have watched so far. A subscribe is always appreciated, and make sure to click on the next video. Have a nice day.